Hello, Attorney Prashanthi.
Hello.
I'm in the process of H-1B transfer to a new employer, and I would like to know what if my H-1B transfer gets denied? In this case, can I keep continuing working with my current employer or I need to leave the country?
So, if you're filing for a H-1B transfer and it gets denied, as long as your present employer has not withdrawn their H-1B petition, status quo is maintained as no change or transfer of your H-1 took place. So, your status is that you're still on H-1 with the same employer. So, nothing really happens there. You don't need to leave the country and you can continue working with your current employer. However, if you start working for the new employer while the transfer is still pending, then that particular new employer's H1 gets denied. Then it's a question as to whether you can return. Most probably, you can return to your previous employer, but there is an additional nuance there that is added. Um, Even though, because you stop working for them for some time, so there's a gap. You worked for another employer, so it's kind of again a gray area, but I would say that it can be done. Most probably you could go back to your old employer, but again it's a gray area
So
on
now
that
what
side.
happens,
Yeah.
if they left the previous employer for say 3 months, right? And assuming that previous H1 is still active, and they come to employer from, let's say, assuming employer A and employer B, uh, but this transfer got denied, but employer A is willing to take them back, and there's a 3 months gap. What happens to this? Do they have to pay them, run the payroll, for unproductive time because they were not actually working? And how does this gap between these fine thin lines, how does it work?
So it's a gray area. That's what I'm saying. And But in my experience, it has worked and it has not caused any issues. But obviously, the longer the gap, the more the problem. You cannot really run payroll if the person left you, so that would not be you would not be following the law. So I would not advise you to do that. I would simply say if the gap comes up, then you can explain to the USCIS officer, whoever is looking at the case, that you filed a transfer at that time. The law allows you to, as per AC 21 regs, work for the new company when the H-1B is received by USCIS. So you did that, but unfortunately it got denied, so you have to move back.
Okay, thank you for answering that question.
Welcome.